The story of Bambi had so many possibilities. You could go off on a million tangents. I remember the one situation that Walt became involved with himself. He said, supposing we had Bambi step on an anthill, then we'd cut in the inside and we'd show that it caused all sorts of damage to the ant civilization in there, and we spent weeks and weeks developing the ants, and then all of a sudden we all decided, you know, we're way off the story. This has nothing to do with the story of Bambi.
There really was a great deal that didn't make the final film. There were characters, the cute little squirrel that they had a lot of hope for, and the chipmunk.
We had a family of grasshoppers, and they get into a family squabble over this or that, and Bambi is watching all of this, and here's the big head of Bambi and the little grasshoppers. And what's that got to do with the story, you know? And this would go on many times.
For example, Thumper had a father who had a big role in the movie, which didn't really work out. They were just fine with just a mom.
And there are lots of story sketches for things involving bees and insects.
A wonderful sequence that Walt absolutely loved, with a bee inside of Bambi's stomach, and how they would go to the ear to talk to the bee, and then they would go to Bambi's mouth to hear what he had to say, and gags, and ultimately all of this didn't end up in the final film.
Well, I think a lot of the telling of any animated film, and particularly Bambi, from what I've read and heard from some of the people that were very closely involved with it, is that it was sculptural. And I know it was extremely long when they first put it together, you know, well over a couple of hours, and extremely complex. And to try to boil that all down like a fine sauce into something that is thick and rich and interesting and essential to tell that story.